Hello everybody, Lotus for Life Gaming here, bringing you guys a brand new discussion video. So, as you guys may or may not know, if it's not evident from the Persona 2 walkthrough, Let's Play, I don't know what to call those anymore, which I do hope to continue, hopefully later tonight after I get done recording this video. I am a stupid huge Persona fan. I love Persona. It's awesome. I have 2 copies of the limited edition for the West pre-ordered right now. One for me, one for my little sister. I'm going to get the PS3 version because she doesn't have a PS4. And I'm very much considering buying that $250 Japanese exclusive limited edition that's on Play Asia. It's like really cool. Comes with like 2 figures and a giant like crystal thingy that lights up and stuff. I am so tempted to get that. But with that being said, I am really wondering where Persona is going to go after 5. Mostly because we haven't heard anything. And I think that's because Konami, not Konami, God, if Konami was running Persona, Atlus has been very, very, very quiet about future Persona games aside from Persona 5. That reason being is that they are trying to hype up Persona 5 and they don't really want to direct attention from Persona 5 to any other games yet. That, and also I think they might be wanting to gauge the reaction to Persona 5, which, if you guys haven't heard, Persona 5 is doing stupidly well over in Japan. I mean, they sold through 70% of the original shipment on day 1 in Japan. Okay, to put that in retrospective, I don't even think that happened with Grand Theft Auto 5, which is one of the best-selling games ever. So, Persona 5 is stupidly good, and it's also stupidly, like, just awesome. And I can guarantee you we're going to get a lot of spin-offs. So, along with Persona 5 coming out, Atlus released a survey to ask people what they like, their general reaction to the game, and also included one question that we can kind of use to take into consideration what we might be seeing in the future. So these are all just random questions and stuff that they're asking. Somebody got to get a kind of feel for who bought the game. But one question in particular is one that I want to talk about, and that's question number 24, and this is where the discussion for this video is, and that is, which genres do you want to see the Persona series explore in the future? So, for those who don't know, Atlus has always wanted to explore in the explore other genres with their games. They have been doing nothing but RPGs for the longest time, and they really wanted to branch out and try other things. They couldn't do that, though, until after they were bought by Sega, and now they have the funds and the abilities to actually do it. Not to mention the sheer fact that the Persona series has exploded in popularity thanks to Golden, and I believe the TV anime also really helped out the popularity of the series explode as well. And since then, we've seen 2 fighting games, a dancing game, which is amazing, by the way. It's one of the few games I have a platinum for, and a Etrian Odyssey style game, which honestly is, aside from the story, is not all that great. Anyways, so we've seen them branch out to other things, and I've been kind of like taking guesses into what I think we'll see. But, however, these are some ideas that Atlus has been thinking of, and they want people's opinions on. This is not the actual, like, percentage answers of the questions. This is the actual survey, but you can't take it because it's Japanese only. So, the 7 possible choices for, like, future genres and stuff is RPG. It's interesting how they didn't put a J on there. So, the Persona games are JRPGs. They're still RPGs, but they're Japanese RPGs. And there's a big difference between how Japan does their RPGs and how the West does our RPGs. For instance, Final Fantasy XIII and Skyrim, which came out around the same time to my knowledge, are 2 very different games. Final Fantasy XIII is very heavy on the story, very linear, doesn't give you a lot of options to do anything other than the story and the general stuff. And while Skyrim is very open, you're able to do basically whatever you want. Story takes a back seat. Yeah, it's there, but you don't care. So really, in all honesty, and that's just like the reflection of almost every JRPG versus RPG. Now, granted, though, there are RPGs that aren't like JRPGs that are from Japan, like, for instance, Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Those games are very much RPG, hack and slash, horror games, whatever you want to call them, but they're RPGs, in their heart and soul, but they're not JRPGs because the story very much takes a back seat. Yes, it's there, but it's not really all that important. While in JRPGs, the story tends to make precedence over gameplay. So this tells me that they might be looking into possibly doing a Western-style RPG, which would be very interesting. I don't know how that would go about, how they would get that to work, but hey, it'd be really cool to have like an open-world Skyrim-style Persona game. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know how that would work, but it just sounds cool, just somebody to run around and summon Personas and just mess up stuff. The Revlon games, so they're asking if you want to see more Revlon games, kind of like Persona 4 Dancing All Night. Now, for those who don't know, one of the things that Atlus has really taken a liking to try and drum up hype for the games and stuff is they will play the games on Twitch and stuff. Like you can, or I think they play them on Twitch, but they would live stream them on some site. I'm pretty sure it's Twitch though. And in one of their live streams for Persona 4 Dancing All Night, the devs were asked if they were going to consider doing a Persona 3 Dancing All Night or something like that with the Persona 3 characters, and Atlus replied saying that if Persona 4 Dancing All Night did well, they would probably do it. And to my knowledge, Persona 4 Dancing All Night has done incredibly well. It's one of the best rhythm games out there. Like, really good story, a bit slow in some parts, but really good overall, really good dancing mechanics and everything, really good music. Oh god, like the whole Persona music, if I could get my hands on like every single OST, which I just about have, I totally would. Okay, so really, in all honesty, Revlon games kind of just seem to go well with the Persona series, although if they do Persona 3 Dancing All Night, I can't, like, picture it. I mean, I can picture Aigis doing the robot, and that's about it. But, like, it just... The thing is that the Persona 3 team, they're super serious. Everybody has a stick up their butt, for the most part. I mean, yeah, there were some comedy moments in Persona 3, and yeah, there is some levity to the characters and everything, but I just can't picture Mitsuru getting down and dancing or something. Same thing with Akihiko, or, well, maybe Junpei. Oh yeah, definitely Junpei. And it would be really cool if they were to do that and incorporate, like, Chidori, because she is still alive, and that'd be really cool to have, like, a, dance with Junpei and Chidori. I don't know, I really want to see more Chidori. She's awesome. But... like, seriously, though, aside from, like, 2 or 3 characters, I can't picture anybody from Persona 3 getting down and dancing. Like, maybe, Minato or Makoto. I don't know which name to call him now. I think Makoto's his official name. But it's just, I can't picture any of them. So, I mean, if they do a future Revlon game, again, maybe aside from an expansion on Dancing All Night, I really can't picture how they would do it. I mean, unless, like, there's just some absurd reason for the Persona 3 team to get down dancing. Fighting games, I think this is going to be obligatory. It's going to happen no matter what. I think Persona 5 Arena is probably going to be announced by the end of the year. It would not surprise me one bit. Partly because the thing with fighting games, guys, is that you have to continuously update them, or with the exception of a few games in particular, like Smash Bros. Melee and Marvel vs. Capcom 2, with the exception of, like, those 2 games, if you don't continuously update a fighting game, the fan base dies off, the online community dies off. Heck, if you go under Arena or Arena Ultimax, it's next to impossible to find anybody to play online, and those games aren't even that old. So really, honestly, they have to keep updating them with new characters, new, like, game modes, new things, and also, honestly, they still have a lot of plot points from Persona 4 Arena Ultimax to finish up. So it would really not surprise me if we got, like, a Persona 5 Arena with all the characters from Persona 4 Arena and Persona 5 characters in there as well. That'd be really cool, and I can't wait to see crossovers between between the Persona 5 team and Persona 4 and 3, especially between Persona 4 and 5, because well, you have the investigation team, and then you have thieves. So yeah. Now then, the next genre that they were looking at is simulation, i.e. strategy games. Now, I don't really play very many of these, so the first thing that comes immediately to mind is, like, RTS games and stuff like that. I don't know if that's what they're talking about, or if they're talking about, like Disgaea and stuff. Now, a Disgaea style Persona game, that'd be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Honestly, you know, like, move your characters around, you have your attacks, your stuff. I think those are actually, like, technically strategy RPGs. That'd be pretty cool if they did a strategy RPG Persona game. I would really like that, especially if it's on like PS Vita or something. I'd be all into that. Like I would put so many hours into that, it would be not even funny. And I could totally see Persona adapting that style and everything. An action game, I picture this as kind of like a hack and slash or something like that. Kind of like Metal Gear Rising or Jack and Daxter, although that's more of a platformer. But like generally run around, beat up stuff, and like basically real time action. That would be also pretty cool. I don't know how they would work in the personas in that, because like an idea that I had whenever I was thinking over like all these is like run around as like Labrys and beat up shadows with her giant axe, and like zip around the arenas with her gauntlet knuckle thing chain. I don't know what you call it. But like I can't picture how they would get the personas to really work, aside from them being like summons, and like you summon your persona and you're still running around hitting stuff and your persona kind of does their own thing for a little bit. I mean, that would be like the only real way I can think of that they could get that to work. And then you've got shooting game here, which basically means first person or third person shooter. I can't picture Persona being a first-person shooter, but maybe a third-person shooter game would be interesting. Like maybe as like a, maybe that could be kind of like a video game adaptation of the manga series where Naoto is her own detective and everything, and she's got like a robot sidekick or something. I don't know very much about that that like short-lived manga, other than that not a lot of people liked it, other than the fact that we got to see a more feminine Naoto. But like something with like Naoto or Aigis, I could totally see that working with. But again, how would they incorporate the personas? That's the big thing. Not to mention, how would they keep the actual like very much integral part of Persona in these kind of games, you know, which is the characters and the dialogue and the more relaxing scenes. Like if in action and shooting games, it's got to be like almost constant action, and I just really can't like picture that with Persona and everything. Now, don't get me wrong, this is Atlus, and they managed to take a really stupid idea like Persona 4 Dancing All Night and make it amazing. So really, honestly, I could see them doing all of these and doing well with it. It's just, I would be very apprehensive with a shooter game and maybe an action game. Rhythm game, I'm totally fine with. Fighting game, I'm totally fine with. A strategy RPG simulation game, I'm totally fine with. Although, if they're talking about like simulation as in like Age of Empires or like an RTS like that, I don't know how they would do an RTS. That'd be interesting though. Stuff like that. But generally speaking, it's Atlus. I feel like they can really probably just make anything into gold at this point, because Persona, they put a lot of heart and effort and work into their games, and it's really hard for them to mess up stuff, at least so far. I mean, I feel like Persona Q was a step backward, but only really because of two things. First and foremost, it was an Etrian Odyssey game with a Persona paint coat. And Etrian Odyssey, okay, I know it's got its diehard fans, but I don't like the gameplay of Etrian Odyssey. And basically Persona Q was basically Etrian Odyssey, but with Persona characters. And I didn't like it like one bit, aside from a few parts, like for instance the boss fights and the character dialogue, and just simply the whole fun factor of having both teams together at their fullest. Now, with that being said, though, I personally, what I want to see in the future of Persona is I want to see a Persona 5 fighting game. I wouldn't mind seeing another dancing game, although I can't picture the Persona 3 team doing dancing and stuff. So maybe like the Persona 3 team, or at least a few characters like Junpei and like Aigis, and maybe Minato or Makoto, whichever name you want to use for them, along with like the Persona 5 team. Like the Persona 5 team, I could totally picture like them getting down and dancing. That'd be awesome. With like the whole soundtrack of Persona 5. Oh god. Then maybe we'd have a full vocal version of Wake Up, Get Out, and whatever it's called, the intro, which we still don't have a full vocal version as far as I know of. But aside from like a fighting game and a rhythm game, I would really like to see a full-on actual remake of Personas 1 and 2. That be by Personas 1 and 2, I mean Personas 2, Persona 1, Persona 2 Innocent Sin, and Persona 2 Eternal Punishment. Because if you guys have been watching my Persona 2 walkthrough, the game is dated, okay? I mean, that's the remaster for PSP 2, by the way. And the Persona 1 remaster for PSP, I know people used remakes for them for the longest time, but they're not remakes, they're remasters, let's face it, and they're honestly so very, very, very dated. And honestly, Persona 1, I can't really get into. I have tried dozens of times, and I just can't get into it. I'm really thinking about doing it as a Let's Play on this channel after I get done with Personas 2 and I get done with Fate Extra. But again, I just can't get into Persona 1, so I think that, oh, maybe if I do a Let's Play, I can be like force myself to do it. But considering my track record with finishing Let's Plays at this point, I don't know. But with that being said, I would really like to see full-on remasters of Personas 1 and 2 along with Persona 2 Part 2. Like maybe even combine Personas 2 Eternal Punishment and Innocent Sin into one game. That way, so we don't have to get both games separately and stuff, because honestly, both games could fit onto a Blu-ray. Granted, though, if they like were to do it in the style of Personas 3, 4, or 5, especially 5, then yeah, they would have to maybe do it in 2 different discs. Anyway, so what are your guys' thoughts and opinions on this? Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And see you all later. Peace out.